The Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively legal saga continues, and after we've already broken down the complaints and the responses right now,
this is going to be Lively's attempt to recast what's going on here, to bring the narrative back to her side and hopefully get some sympathy from people. Because right now she's losing 90%, I would say. Zach, do you agree with that? And what about Taylor Swift? I mean, the silence is deafening. Hasn't she stood up for other female artists in the past under similar circumstances? And now we're just not hearing anything.
Blake Lively, Hollywood's golden girl, fashion icon, and one half of a beloved celebrity power couple, is now at the center of a shocking controversy. This unexpected scandal could impact her thriving career and carefully crafted image, leaving fans and the industry in disbelief.
And what I wanted, there were two things that I wanted. I wanted the media and observers to know that a lot of us have a problem with Blake Lively and what she has done to an innocent man. And so I knew that she was going to be getting a lot of love in the media for this big new premiere. And I just wanted someone to be out there at the premiere holding up the sign, standing up for Justin Baldoni and calling Blake Lively out for what she has done.
Here's what citizen journalists had to say. Today, while the public is screaming to be heard on our distaste for this person, Blake Lively, and on a day where she had a perfectly reasonable and very public excuse to make a pass of walking this red carpet, Blake Lively walked a red carpet populated entirely of approved fans, vetted journalists, and media-prepped co-stars. Oh, sorry, you guys can't read all this. Media vetted co-stars who are all there on the condition that they play by Blake Lively's rules. I may not have all the answers on why Blake has the stranglehold on Hollywood that has motivated so many to bend over backwards to do her bidding. But even without the why, the what is plain as day. Blake Lively is the powerful one. Stop thinking you can sell this lie to us. Now, I completely agree that Blake Lively is the powerful one. I don't know if there was some coordinated effort to not talk about this, other than all of the PR are going to say, don't talk about this.
Reports are surfacing that Blake Lively allegedly presented false evidence in court against actor and filmmaker Justin Baldoni. What began as a legal dispute has now turned into an intense courtroom battle with shocking revelations, leaked documents, and serious accusations that could have major consequences for both stars and their reputations.
And I can just imagine, I mean, even when we do filings that are not public celebrity cases, you know, you kind of go back and forth about the wording, make sure that you have what you need. But here, they're filing it for an ulterior motive. It's really not for the court. It's for public consumption. So I can imagine that it's not just the lawyers that have to review these complaints or amended complaint. It's all the PR people. I mean, it's the agents. It's probably Ryan Reynolds. I don't know.
Is Blake Lively really responsible? Or is she being framed in a larger Hollywood power struggle? The truth remains unclear, but one thing is certain. This unfolding drama is set to take some unexpected and shocking turns.
in the explosive legal battle between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, new text messages reveal shocking behind-the-scenes drama. From Blake Lively's alleged push to control the film's edit to these apparent mentions of Taylor Swift and even a weight discussion, these text messages paint a very different story than what Lively has publicly claimed.
Let's start from the beginning. Sources close to the case reveal that Blake Lively's legal team presented evidence alleging Justin Baldoni's involvement in illegal activities, including money laundering and unethical financial dealings. These claims have sparked intense debate and could have serious consequences.
They're working on it, and I'm sure they're wordsmithing everything at this point in time. They've probably got a team of lawyers and paralegals and everybody pulling together everything. I personally don't think it's going to be a whole lot different than the original complaint that's out there. It's going to be a story that's going to be told to the public at large, and it's supposed to hopefully address some of the PR failures that they've had in this, including Saturday night with Ryan Reynolds on SNL. But I think it's still going to be the same, that she made complaints, they were ignored, and then when finally they got tired of hearing these complaints from her, they retaliated against her. And that's going to be the theme. It's still going to be there, but it's just going to have a lot more facts in it. I think Baldoni's crew got out in front of this more quickly. The text messages that they put together and put out and filed in the court, the way they read is like a novel. It's devastating. And so this is going to be Lively's attempt to recast what's going on here, to bring the narrative back to her side and hopefully get some sympathy from people. Because right now she's losing 90%, I would say. Zach, do you agree with that?
The alleged evidence presented included email chains, text messages, and financial records that supposedly linked Justin Baldoni to questionable transactions. However, forensic experts have raised serious concerns, claiming the documents were fabricated using advanced software. Cybersecurity specialists have also identified inconsistencies in the metadata of the emails, with mismatched timestamps and suspicious formatting. Even AI detection tools suggest that some text messages may have been generated using deepfake technology. These shocking revelations have cast doubt on the case, raising questions about the truth behind these accusations.
The fact that WME fired Justin is a huge cause for a lot of the damages that he's now suffering, including the loss of his Pac-Man movie and deals that Wayfair had. What are the real ramifications of this? And does it help that there's now actual audio of it?
I mean, I think, Andy, I think this rises to the level of what we'd almost call a smoking gun. And you know, what you're trying to prove in the defamation case is that you actually suffered damages related to whatever you were defamed about or whatever was mistruth about you. And sometimes that's a hard nexus to prove. It's a hard nexus. It's going to be a hard nexus for Lively to prove that her skincare line tanked because of the negative publicity. And it was going to be hard for Baldoni to show that any comments that were made about him, since he's been doing so well in the PR war, actually affected the damages. But what I think we're seeing now with this quote is WME absolutely got rid of him because of these things that were said. And so now he's got a clear line to get damage support.
Fans are divided. Some believe this is an attempt to sabotage Justin Baldoni's career, while others think Blake Lively may have been misled by her legal team. But if the evidence is fake, who stands to gain the most? Let's explore the possibilities.
I think that was also a big issue from Blake Lively's team is that, they were okay with the website going up as far as the amended complaint goes. Now, when it came to that timeline, they actually wanted that timeline to be incorporated with the complaint as far as going into that paragraph form, because they kind of explained that this was all their side of the story. This was one-sided. But, when you have receipts, proofs, timeline, facts, text messages, all this stuff to kind of counter the claims that, your client has put forth, it's kind of hard to kind of diminish that a little bit as far as, what is the possible jury pool going to see, before they're getting called for this case. And that, of course, we know that the trial is going to be slated for next year. They're going to keep that date of next year, even though the judge kind of mentioned a little bit that he might be interested in pushing that date forward, because it seems like everyone across the board just wants a resolve. Everyone across the board is claiming, with their respective parties that they have been either emotionally or financially damaged by everything that's going on, whether it's Blake and Ryan Reynolds, who, again, we have to stress, Ryan Reynolds was not even a part of the It Ends With Us movie. Again, there's a lot of conspiracies, kind of what role he plays a little bit right now, but just sticking to the facts here. Whereas, Baldoni's team, they're being accused of sexual harassment, all this types of things. So it's a lot of he said, she said. It's a lot of kind of mess. It's kind of giving you a little eeriness of what had happened with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation. But again, this isn't a criminal case. This is not a criminal matter. No one's going to jail. This is a civil matter. So I think as far as the resolve goes, could we all argue that there's been damage to every single party involved? Absolutely.
Things took an even more dramatic turn when Justin Baldoni's legal team fought back, determined to challenge the accusations. With the help of forensic analysts, they carefully examined the so-called evidence, and the findings were shocking. One email contained a font that didn't even exist at the time it was supposedly sent. Another text message was traced to an IP address in a completely different country than where Justin was at the time. But the biggest revelation came from an anonymous former employee of Blake Lively's legal team. This whistleblower claimed they were pressured to fabricate evidence, and leaked screenshots appeared to show internal discussions about strengthening the case against Baldoni. These shocking claims have left fans and legal experts questioning everything, as the case takes a turn that no one saw coming.
that they did not do their proper due diligence. And most recently, we had a court hearing this past week where the judge had to work out the scheduling and procedure of the case, a trial currently set for March of 2026, but also he admonished and warned both sides, really the lawyers, to be very cautious about what public comments they make about this case, to not say anything that could potentially taint a future jury. And that's important because for Brian Friedman especially, this is Justin Baldoni's attorney, he has been fighting this in the public just as much as in legal filings, seemingly creating a website filled with extra correspondence, releasing behind-the-scenes footage, constantly talking about the case on podcasts and interviews.
Justin Baldoni's legal team quickly requested the court to dismiss the false claims, putting Blake Lively's entire case in jeopardy. But the big question remains, is she truly behind this? Or could she have been set up by someone else?
One of Blake Lively's strongest claims is backed up by evidence. You see the allegation that she was the victim of a smear campaign, and she says she's got the text messages to prove it. So particularly the messages between Baldoni and Melissa Nathan, his crisis management expert, and Jennifer Abel, his publicist. So I want to go to her complaint. Her complaint reads, on August 16th, Miss Nathan circulated a Daily Mail article entitled String of Hard-to-Watch Videos That Have Surfaced Following Tone-Deaf Q&A to promote It Ends With Us Could Tarnish 36-year-old star's golden Hollywood image for good. To which Abel responded, wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece. And Miss Nathan replied, that's why you hired me, right? I'm the best. As their own words reveal, the purpose of this social manipulation plan was twofold. It aimed to both conceal the pattern of harassment and other misconduct by Mr. Baldoni, Mr. Heath, and Wayfarer, and retaliate against Miss Lively by battering her image, harming her businesses, and causing her and her family severe emotional harm. Millions of people, including many reporters and influencers who saw these planted stories, social media posts, and other online content, had no idea they were unwitting consumers of a crisis PR, astroturfing, and digital retaliation campaign created and funded by Mr. Baldoni and Wayfarer to hurt Miss Lively. That is precisely the goal of astroturfing campaign, to light the fire and continue to stoke conversation secretly, blurring the line between authentic and manufactured content and creating viral public takedown.
This scandal isn't just making headlines. It has all of Hollywood buzzing. While some of Blake Lively's celebrity friends are publicly defending her, others are choosing to remain silent, sparking even more speculation about the truth behind the controversy.
But here it is. I've got the protester, what the protester had to say, and why this article says Anna Kendrick delivered a shady response about reuniting with Blake Lively for another Simple Favor premiere. I'm going to let you guys decide if it's shady or not, okay? So stick around for that. Here it is. This is Blake arriving. No florals in sight, but she's at there, I mean, at the premiere. Now, what you can see is behind these barracks back here is the normal fans, and then I believe these are the pre-approved fans. People that know her, that have worked with her, you know, people that are vetted, because I don't think they want any of the public going near her. And I don't blame them, you know what I mean? Like, this is just the way it is. But then again, there are people out there that want to know what, everyone really thinks about this case that's happening. It's one of the most bizarre cases in entertainment news. And this is one of the first times Blake has kind of done anything public.
Ryan Reynolds has not yet made a public statement, but sources close to the couple say he is standing by Blake Lively. He reportedly believes she may have been misled and is not responsible for the controversy.
This one. Remember this one? Right when the scandal was really breaking and he was like, everything's fine. All my fans have the exact same photo with the exact same blue tape. And not one of the members of all the press here are asking me one question about the big scandal involving my wife and Justin Baldoni. This is weird. Not at all.
The controversy has sparked reactions from several Hollywood stars. Chrissy Teigen, never one to hold back her opinions, tweeted, "If this is true, it's a big yikes. Hollywood legal teams are wild, man." On the other hand, Tyler Perry, who has worked with Justin Baldoni in the past, defended him, stating, "I've known Justin for years. This just doesn't add up. He's a solid guy." Meanwhile, Kim Kardashian, currently studying law, shared an interesting perspective, saying, "Cases like this make me wonder who's really behind the scenes pulling the strings. Celebs get used as pawns all the time." But perhaps the most unexpected comment came from Leonardo DiCaprio, When asked about the situation at a recent event, he reportedly responded, "Hollywood's full of smoke and mirrors. Don't believe everything you hear."
At this point, they're fighting over subpoenas. They're talking over what needs to be subpoenaed, what can be subpoenaed. And then now they're going over who is being protected. As you know, officially, Blake Lively was asking for 2.5 years of subpoenas of private text messages and et cetera. But she herself was asking for a protective order because she didn't want her famous friends, et cetera. I mean, I'm basically breaking it down for you guys. She didn't want her famous friends to be exposed, and some of the witnesses, perhaps. So it says, as the Lively and Baldoni legal teams continue to squabble over the scope of subpoenas to telecom companies in what has become a $400 million and counting matter, the actress's attorneys today called out that it ends with its director, Justin Baldoni, his fellow defendants, and allegedly weaponized online content creators. That's me, for misleading accusations over a potential protective disorder. It continues, claiming that the attorney's eyes-only PO that Team Blake wishes to see put in place for discovery, depositions, and more has been warped in its intent and reach. Lively's attorneys told Judge Lyman Tuesday in a letter that, in fact, the travels of the mischaracterization embraced by the opposition through this manufactured echo chamber by itself provides ample justification. It says, in short, Lively's lawyers believe the opposing side is twisting the purpose of the protective order, and ironically, this distortion itself provides why a strict order is necessary to prevent misuse of private information. So not only do they ask for the protective order, but then now they're mad because the purpose of the protective order is apparently being twisted. It's like nothing.
So, who's telling the truth, and who's trying to cover their tracks? Let's talk about the leak that exposed everything. According to insider reports, a former employee from Blake Lively's legal team, referred to as Alex to protect their identity, decided to blow the whistle after witnessing the extent of the efforts to build a case against Justin Baldoni. Alex claimed they were instructed to alter digital files, manipulate timestamps, and create misleading email threads. Feeling morally conflicted, they reportedly took screenshots of internal conversations where lawyers discussed ways to make the evidence appear airtight. This revelation has added even more complexity to the unfolding legal drama.
The parties involved, Blake Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, her publicist Leslie Sloan, Justin Baldoni, his production company Wayfarer Studios, and more, have now submitted a case management plan to the judge. And they're expected in federal court in New York on Monday. We're planning to cover what are known as the Wayfarer parties, so those in Baldoni's camp. They raised an issue that they say they want to address. Quote, during a conference of the parties' counsel on January 30th, 2025, counsel for the Wayfarer parties requested the earliest possible deposition of Blake Lively. Counsel for Miss Lively and Ryan Reynolds stated their objection to the Wayfarer party's lead counsel conducting the deposition of Blake Lively. Specifically, the Lively party's counsel indicated that they object to Brian J. Friedman personally taking Miss Lively's deposition based upon unspecified statements made by Mr. Friedman. When asked to elaborate on the grounds for the objection, counsel for the Lively parties declined to do so. Counsel for Miss Lively has made clear that Miss Lively does not want Mr. Friedman to be the attorney who takes her deposition. We are unaware of any situation that would warrant the deposed party to have a choice in which attorney takes her deposition. Parties to litigation simply do not have the right to dictate which of their opponent's attorneys may or may not take their deposition or perform any other aspect of the opposing party's case. The Wayfarer parties respectfully submit that this important issue should be discussed at the initial pretrial conference.
Despite being the victim in this situation, Justin Baldoni isn't walking away unscathed. His reputation, built on years of hard work and advocacy in the entertainment industry, has taken a hit. Even though the false evidence has been exposed, the mere association with such serious allegations has created challenges. In Hollywood, perception is everything, and some brands and collaborators may hesitate to work with him until the controversy fully settles. This situation highlights how quickly public opinion can shift, even when the truth is revealed.
It just means that he may need to pay some money that he owes per his contract with the publicist. Now, as for why I think Stephanie Jones may actually have a valid case against Justin, Wayfarer, Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan, etc., Jennifer Abel seems to have made some very irresponsible mistakes. Take a look at this part of the Jonesworks complaint here. By the time Jones became aware of the plot in August 2024 and terminated Abel, it was too late and the damage was done. Abel had already stolen more than 70 proprietary and sensitive business documents and additional client leads from JonesWorks. Beyond those documents, Abel left JonesWorks with Baldoni and Wayfair in tow and immediately opened shop at her own competing firm, which she had set up while still working at JonesWorks. She further sought to poach employees in violation of the non-compete and non-solicitation provisions in her contract. And for their part, encouraging Abel and leaving with her, Wayfair and Baldoni breached their own contract with JonesWorks and then poured salt in the wound by baselessly refusing to pay the remaining amount owed. Abel and Nathan's covert takedown and smear campaigns were revealed in black and white on Abel's company-issued phone following her termination, which JonesWorks forensically preserved and examined in detail after receiving a subpoena for the phone's contents. So she did get a subpoena.
Was this leak a genuine act of conscience, or part of a larger strategy to take down Blake Lively? Some believe she is being targeted by powerful Hollywood figures who want to see her fall from grace. The timing raises questions. Blake has been outspoken about women's rights and industry reforms. Could she have made enemies in high places? As speculation grows, many wonder if there's more to this story than meets the eye. Let's explore further.
And this is a protester. Now, we know the protester. She's actually a great content creator. She's yelling justice for Justin Baldoni. She's right there.
If there's one thing we know about Hollywood, it's that power plays often happen behind the scenes. Remember Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? What started as a personal legal battle quickly turned into a full-blown media spectacle. Could Blake Lively be facing something similar? Conspiracy theories are already swirling. Some speculate that she was set up by powerful figures looking to tarnish her image, while others see this as yet another example of Hollywood's ruthless legal battles, where winning takes priority over the truth. As the controversy unfolds, the real story remains uncertain.
Blake Heard's It Ends With Us co-star Brandon Sklenner was there too, for a different project. The 1923 actor was there yesterday promoting his new movie, Drop 'Em. But just 7 days prior, Brandon Sklenner was at the Vanity Fair Oscar party, and he wore this, which got a lot of people talking. If you're not familiar with this iconic brooch, it just so happens to be the exact same one that Justin Baldoni previously wore. Same brooch, and not just anytime, anywhere. This was Justin Baldoni banished to the basement. That's right, he wore this brooch to the It Ends With Us premiere in New York City. The same premiere where Brandon Sklenner and the rest of the cast refused to take any photos with him or appear at all in any way with Justin Baldoni. The same premiere where, according to his lawsuit, the Never With Teeth icon demanded that he be kept apart and not even allowed in the same screening room. Hence, he was in the basement with his friends and family. So, when Brandon wore the same brooch on the Vanity Fair Oscars red carpet, a lot of people viewed that as a sign of support for Justin. Even though Sklenner has repeatedly come out in support publicly, repeatedly, for the consumer of oxygen.
No matter the truth, Blake Lively's reputation is now at risk. Can she recover from this controversy? And what does this mean for Justin Baldoni's career moving forward? The impact of this scandal is still unfolding.
These words that were said by Lively's side had a clear, immediate negative impact on Baldoni's career.
100%. Yeah, I mean, he's losing deals left and right because of this. So, all right. So noted. So this is not good for him. He's going after the New York Times as well. The New York Times was working on that piece way before they're admitting. And I'm curious, from your working with publications and agencies and celebrities, like, is that common for places like the New York Times to get things early? Is that something they just cannot ever admit? What is your take on all that?
Well, we are in an amazing new age with the TikTok crowd and people such as people who view your YouTube channel, where people are getting to the bottom of things in a way that have never happened before, right? So the New York Times has got 100 plus years of precedent that makes it so hard to defeat the New York Times in New York on a case for defamation, right? Now, in this new internet age and in this new age of where people are really truth seeking, I think there is the level, the scale is getting leveled just a bit. That said, I would say it's incredibly difficult to win a defamation case against the New York Times because they know exactly what they need to do to make sure that their journalism gets protected in court. Getting the sources, getting a good faith belief that the sources are telling the truth, getting corroboration for those sources, and then printing it based on that information that they have.
What do you think? Is Blake Lively truly guilty of presenting false evidence, or is this a carefully planned attack against her? Do you believe the whistleblower, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear what you think. And if you love staying updated on the latest Hollywood drama, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the biggest celebrity scandals.